What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're going to cover Justice League Dark, which is a part of the DC animated movie universe. Justice League Dark takes us to the mystical and magical side of the DC universe. This movie focuses heavily on the Justice League Dark roster, which consists of John Constantine, Deadman, Zatanna, Swamp Thing, and Etrigan the Demon. So, what are my thoughts on Justice League Dark overall? I really like Justice League Dark. Watching it again, this movie is oozing with a horror atmosphere. This is the first DC movie to be rated R. In this new continuity, in the 52 continuity, to be rated R, and it just feels, to me, it feels different. It's still the same style of animation. You still got the same voice actors who play Batman, who's in, Jason O'Mara's in this thing, Jerry Connolly, Rosario Dawson. But we also have, we have the new faces now. We got the Justice League Dark, and this movie just has a fresher feel to it. It has a more horror-esque feel to it. It has a good atmosphere to it. It has a lot of creepiness to it. I like the story. The story is actually really intriguing, and I like how Batman is out of his depth. And when it comes to magic, he's a skeptic. But after being visited by Deadman, who tells him you must find Constantine, he starts to come around a little bit as the movie progresses, and I actually like it. And I like how it's Batman who is the leaguer, because Batman's character fits in with Justice League Dark. Batman's a brooding, dark character, and the Justice League Dark deal with these brooding, dark situations. So I think it's very fitting that Batman is the only real leaguer with any kind of a story arc, and is the only real leaguer that we need in this movie. This movie is primarily about John Constantine, and Matt Ryan, who voices Constantine, does an excellent job. I like his sarcastic, witty humor, and I think he just fits the role like a glove. I've never seen the Constantine show, but I see him do an episode in Arrow, and I like him. I like him as Constantine. I would like to see the Arrow show. I would like to see the Constantine show, but I don't have access to it right now. But for what I got in this, I was really enjoying Matt Ryan as Constantine. Nicholas Turturro plays Deadman, and Turturro, he is hilarious as Deadman. And I like how Deadman fanboys out to Batman when he meets him. It's good stuff. Zatanna, I thought the actress who voiced Zatanna did a fine job. I like the on-again, off-again romance that she has with John Constantine. I think that was done pretty well. Etrigan the Demon, Jason Blood. I like the relationship with he and Constantine also. When we first see Constantine, he's playing poker with Jason Blood by his side, and he kind of coaxes him to turn into Etrigan the Demon. But I just like Jason Blood's story as a whole, because we find out in the flashback that it was actually Jason Blood who gave the death blow to the villain of the piece known as Destiny. So I like how his story comes full circle at the end. I thought that was actually pretty cool. And I also like how they handled Swamp Thing in this movie well. I think Swamp Thing, he looks great. He looks massive, imposing, and Swamp Thing, it's cool that he's starting to get some recognition nowadays. Story-wise, I like how this movie goes for a more supernatural detective story. Batman and the Justice League Dark, they're investigating a series of supernatural murders that they call the Nightmare Crimes. And at first, they're led to believe that this guy called Felix Faust, voiced by Enrico Corleone, is behind these crimes. And they have a very entertaining fight scene with Felix Faust. But they find out that it's not actually Felix Faust who's committing these crimes. We find out that it's this guy called Richie, who has a connection to John Constantine, who's actually dying. But we find out that this guy called Richie had made a deal with Destiny, and it's actually Destiny as Richie who's committing these murders, and this is what leads to this big climax where the Justice League Dark and Destiny are having a drawn-out battle all throughout the city until they're eventually stopped. So yeah, but like everything else in between, it's good stuff. I think the characters are really well written. Like I said, this movie's focused heavily on Constantine, which is a good thing, but you also have Batman there, who slowly starts to come around with his pessimistic attitude towards magic and stuff like that. And I also like the banter between Constantine and Batman in this movie as well. Jason O'Mara, he does a fine job as Batman. He's still not my favorite Batman voice, but eventually his voice starts to grow on you. And I thought he did fine in this movie. I like how he was able to bounce off Matt Ryan with their dialogue, bantering together. No, I think the animation is well done, though there are some spots where it can look kind of shaky at points, but overall I think it's fine. I like how the House of Mystery is actually represented is actually represented by the Black Orchid, and I like how Deadman and Black Orchid kind of have like a little romance thing going on when they first meet, and it's ultimately paid off toward the end. I thought that was pretty cool as well. So yeah, without giving too much away, Justice League Dark I think is actually a really good movie. I'm not gonna go into heavy spoilers. I think people should actually give this movie a watch because you're really missing out. It's actually pretty fun. It's one of the better, it's one of the better New 52 movies. It has a good dark brooding atmosphere. It's got an imposing villain. The Justice League Dark members are actually pretty cool, and they all have distinct personalities. Constantine's cool, Deadman's cool, Swamp Thing, he's always fun to see Swamp Thing. Etrigan the Demon and all his rhyming is fun, and of course Etrigan's and Jason Blood's connection to Destiny and Merlin is also pretty cool as well. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to give Justice League Dark a solid. I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. There are some things I would have changed here and there, but overall, this is a damn good movie. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, that's all I got to say. This is a very blasé review, but I don't really want to go into full detail about this movie because I think people should actually give it a chance. It really is that damn good, in my opinion. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Justice League Dark. If you've seen Justice League Dark, let me know in the comment sections below. Like this video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.